Concerned MMA peeps, what's up? It's me, John D. Villarreal, the MMA expert, and that is Paul F. Villarreal there, and we are just going so crazy talking about the whole aftermath of UFC 128 with Jon Jones winning the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship over Shogun Rua, and also this explosive business news in MMA of UFC buying Strikeforce. Now a lot of matches that super fights that everybody wanted to see can happen. And one of those potential super fights would be Dangerous Dan Hendo Henderson versus Jon Bones Jones, okay? Both of them are champions at 205. Jon Jones just won the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. Dan Henderson just won the Strikeforce Light Heavyweight Championship. And, you know, this is an intriguing matchup. Now, Jon Jones is tall and he's rangy and he has all kinds of unorthodox offense. He's very, very big 205 pounder, and that's going to present some problems for, and he's got great wrestling. It's going to present some problems for Hendo. But, you know, can Hendo get there, if you will, if Jones wants to make it in a boxing match? But the thing of it is we've never really seen Jones exactly get on his bicycle and just do boxing. Jones is a wrestler, first and foremost. And Dan Henderson is a much better wrestler, okay? And Dan Henderson, even though Jones has very good strikes, Dan Henderson has the H-bomb. And that H-bomb is just taking people out. One punch knockout power, whether it was Fejao, whether it was Mike Bisping, I mean all kinds of people. He can just, you know, blow you up, and he's done it with his left hand too against, you know, Wanderlei Silva. I just think that, you know, if Jones can't impose his will on the wrestling, a lot of things become more difficult. Now the question is when they're in the clinch, you know, if Jones is able to get on top of it, I really think that that's what the fight, frankly, is going to come down to. If those two would face off, I really think it's okay. Can Henderson land the H-bomb? Number one. So there's two different dimensions here. On the feet, question: can Henderson land the H-bomb? If he can land the H-bomb, anything can happen. Okay, and I'm thinking that he's. I mean, it's not like Jones is like the super defensive boxer or whatever like that. So I think that at some point he's going to get it in there. Then the question is, how much damage does it do? The other question is, okay, well, what about Jones' strikes? You know, is he able to use his range and keep Henderson at range and do some of the Muay Thai and the spinning elbows and, you know, the knees and, you know, this kind of offense? And what does Henderson do with that? It's not like Henderson's the super kick guy, but Jones is much better at the kicks. Does that sort of win the day? So there's intriguing, you know, I would put the stand-up at favoring Jones with a toss-up of the favoring Jones with the wild card of the H-bomb. I think the H-bomb is so devastating that can change the fight like this. Okay, but I like Jones on the stand-up. With the wrestling, I think the wrestling clearly favors Henderson. Now, you know, is Jones is much stronger than most people think. Is he able to muscle Henderson enough to discount the skill factor? I don't know about that. I mean, you saw some of the moves, wrestling, the Greco-Roman wrestling moves that he was throwing on Fejao. I mean, Fejao was very big, very strong, 205 pound, and he just did some amazing things. I mean, you're talking about straight up Olympic caliber. I mean, he won a silver medal, okay, at one of the games, you know, international games. Like, I mean, you know, I believe I have that right. I mean, you know, Henderson is absolutely no joke, and he's really, really good. Now, he's 40 years old, okay, so there's that. That's a big factor. I mean, you know, Jones, you know, 23. So it's interesting, but I think the really what I believe this fight would come down to, because they're both wrestlers at heart, is who can get the control on the bottom. They both are great in ground and pound. Neither one are really that amazing off their back, in my personal opinion. It's not like, you know, Henderson's got some great submissions or this, not, whatever. Now he can do escapes and get out and whatever like that. But I think that's what it's going to come down to, is who can get the control and dominant position on the wrestling. That's the bottom line for me. Paul, what do you think about this fight? Who do you like in it, and do you think it'll happen? And what are people talking about this? Because Henderson's already been tweeting out there. I think he's trying to generate a little interest.
Henderson is tweeting about this fight. Actually, let me correct it. Henderson tweeted about Jones versus Shogun. I think it would be a very interesting fight. I would have to favor Jones just because of the height, the reach and the height.
Big difference.
It's way over there.
Yeah.
But Henderson does have that crazy, he does have the H-bomb that can certainly change any fight at any time. Henderson is a master wrestler, does have superior wrestling credentials to Jones, as far as I know. I would favor Jones. Henderson's 40 years old. Jones is much bigger. But I would love to see it.
I love it. What do you think about that? Jones versus Henderson for a super fight unification between Strikeforce and UFC. Do you think it should happen? What do you think? Who do you think would win? And what's up next? You tell me what's going on. Comments below, subscribe above. I'm John D. Villarreal. That is Paul. Rate this video high, repost it everywhere, and stay tuned. We're going to keep going. We got video game videos. We got everything coming up. And we will see you next time.